Hey, Lord of the Rings fans. Welcome to another episode of Voices of Arda. This is episode 9, I believe. I'm starting to lose count, but that's neither here nor there. We have a very, very special episode for you today. But first and foremost, let me just tell you that I am not home. We're doing this a little bit different today. I am actually in the hood. So if you hear noises in the background like loud cars, or there might be a gunshot or fire, something, anything, just ignore it. Just ignore it. I'm not involved. And we're going to do what we do. We're going to make this happen one way or the other because we have Jesus on our side. Callie, let the
Hello
people
there.
know what I mean by that.
Hi, everybody. So, Callie Cosplay, you're probably familiar with me by now, but you may not be as familiar with this extremely handsome gentleman that we have joining us today. We have a little bit of
Starting with
divine
Jesus.
intervention going on. His name is Scotty Wartooth, also known as TikTok Jesus. So, Scotty, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Nice to be here.
Do you want to give us a
Scotty.
little rundown on who you are, where we find you on social media, what kind of projects you're working on?
So, mostly known as TikTok Jesus, as you do. I'm mostly known on TikTok for my content, dressing up as Jesus, making parody content, and occasionally pro LGBT stuff, which gets me into a lot of trouble with some very hateful people. But that's usually where the humor comes from. I also stream on Twitch as a variety streamer, playing all sorts of different games regularly. It's a easy way to sort of connect with different followers and all that, as opposed to having a lot of different people on a TikTok live asking it's just like, I was like, oh, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite song? It's like, I don't have a favorite of any of these things. Like, have you got anything? Yeah, at least with Twitch, it's a lot better to connect with like more reoccurring, frequent sort of viewers and all that. But yeah,
Cool. And you
also,
have a pretty steady Twitch schedule at this point, right? I think.
I try and keep it steady. I took a bit of a break over May because I had there was a pirate festival I had down in Brixham. Then I had my trip to Florida, which involved a mega con over there. Then the weekend after, I was in London for a Comic-Con. Then the week after that, I was in Plymouth for a world record mermaid gathering. And it turns out we beat the record.
Woo!
So that was cool.
Wow.
But
Cool.
finally back to regular streaming. And next week I'm back off to another pirate festival. So I'll have to have another small break there. But no, mostly back to a routine.
That is so much fun, though. I mean, do you enjoy the festivals and the going out and all that stuff, or do you kind of like having your routine?
This one I'm going to next week, it's something I've been doing annually, basically every year since God knows, 2017, perhaps. I don't know. I've been going a fair bit. It's a bit smaller than it used to be, but it's just Whitby is a lovely area, small area, but just a lovely place to go for a weekend away. So going there for 5 days, and we usually end the weekend with a bonfire on the beach and just drinking. And I'm usually the one who starts singing the shanties when I've had a few to drink. So I'm hoping to get some of that on the video this time for TikTok.
Yes.
Let me just say, you sound like you are living the life. Both me and Callie both love your content, and we love your positivity. So, let me just make sure I say that to you, and thank you for being on our little podcast. We're putting along, but man, it's an honor to have you. So
yeah, you can see
nice to be here.
Smile is about a mile wide, and will stay like that throughout this entire episode. So maybe put a smile on somebody's face with a little joke. What kind of grades do pirates get in school?
I'm gonna need you for this joke, Jesus.
Is it the C or?
It's the high seas.
Of course. I should know that one by now. Like, I get all the Jesus jokes, the pirate jokes, all the play. Yeah.
I don't know why, but I expected a little better from you.
No, that was
yeah.
Wow.
I'm a letdown, clearly.
to rebound from that terrible joke, yesterday they released about a 15-second TV spot about the Lord of the Rings. So I just want to get, I'm not sure if Scotty saw it, but it was just, it's actually interesting that we have Jesus on our podcast today, because the message in the TV spot was nothing begins as evil. Nothing starts out as evil. You know what I'm saying? And that is a direct quote from the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. It's said by Lord Elrond.
Yeah, I did catch this actually. It was said by Lord Elrond in the books, but
Yeah.
this was the series is set in the Second Age, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Sauron is already Sauron.
Yeah.
I think it was a friend of mine who was saying about this actually. A friend of mine, Leanne, was saying about how it almost doesn't quite correlate time-wise. Maybe it's something else he's referring to, if not
Exactly.
Sauron. But yeah.
Yes. So my hypothesis is this. So knowing the depth of the lore and everything like that, my hypothesis is this: they're using that quote to explain the other peoples that have become evil during this time period, which literally fits perfectly, because that is literally what happens during the Second Age, and how we come to be in this great pickle that we are in the Third Age, with the acceptance of these rings of power. These people weren't evil at first, but they end up becoming evil, wanting lands and power, and being susceptible to Sauron's, gifts. You know what I'm saying? So we have, for example, the Numenorians, even before Sauron there, were falling into evil ways, and then fully corrupted when Sauron was in Numenor, and completely were evil, except for the few of the faithful, and those are the ones we know that came over to Middle-earth and established Gondor and Arnor. But the rest of them drowned and were held captive in Valinor in the caves, like Al-Pharazôn and his troop. They were completely, turned evil. So they didn't start that way. The Numenorians were given Numenor as a gift. They were very given this because they were so, good people, and they helped during the wars of the War of Wrath. You know what I'm saying? They helped in those battles. So they were given this island. They started off good, as well as many of the peoples that live in Middle Earth. So the Easterlings, the Haradrim, the Southrons, they're not just bad people, but Sauron got to them first, corrupted them, because that's all they really knew. They see a creature of magnificent power, and they say they it says in the Silmarillion, they worship him because his abode was fire, and he's Sauron. He's literally like an angel-esque being. So they didn't know anything to better, and nobody was there to teach them anything. So they fell into evil ways, following and worshiping Sauron. Now, another example, the Dunlindans. These are people that live near Rohan, around the Gap of Rohan and that area. And these are people that fell into evil ways. Were they evil in the beginning? You know what I'm saying? We know at the end, in the Battle of Dagorlad, it says, on that day, all things were divided, and everything from birds and creatures and beasts, all were split up and fought on either side. So some fought on Sauron's side and fought on the side of the Last Alliance. The only side that wasn't divided was the elves, only fought for good. But some of the dwarves fought on the side of Sauron, but the good. What led those dwarves to be on Sauron's side? So there's so many different things that happened during the Second Age that we can surmise and say, you know what? Wow, these rings and the lust for power and for lands and things, this is what caused these people to turn bad, and Sauron used it and took it to his advantage, handing out such great gifts. So that's my thought process and my hypothesis.
Yeah, a lot more spread out than just Sauron. It's more just everything in his path as well. Just yeah.
It's the world he's trying to rule in entirety. He's not trying to get one land or another. He's, hey, let me rule the world. I want to rule the world. I want everything to be under my order. How can I do this? Oh, these people feel slighted this way. Oh, these people don't have these resources. Oh, these people are being taken advantage of. So if I give these rings and promise great power to these peoples or their leaders, they'll rise to that occasion or that power, and then they'll be under my control and under my sway. So this is how they've been, trapped, and they were deceived. It's that lust for probably good things at first, but then it turned bad, you know?
Yeah. I'm thinking like I'm wondering if it's referring to like the orcs as well, but I think I'm a little bit behind on what exactly was the current sort of idea for their origin. Because I know like it was the idea of how they came from the elves, but Tolkien didn't really like the idea of justifying killing them if they were previously like innocent beings and that. So I don't know if that was changed later on or if that's yeah, I'm already getting a bit lost in my thing there, but yeah, because I mean, it could be referring to the orcs, depending on like what the origin is they're going to go for in this one. I know it's loosely
looks
based
that
on the
way.
books, but
As you see in my background here, it looks that way. I think that's just the easiest and best explanation that we can get. I know he did want to change it, but that's the thing with Tolkien's work. He was very undecided with some things. He kind of dug himself in a hole a little bit because he wanted it, and then he realized, oh wait, they can't be elves because I want them to be not be able to go to the halls of Mandos if they're evil. So then how do you explain that? Oh, they're men. But then I don't want them to go to Eru or Luvatar when they're done either. So then he kind of dug himself in a little place where he got stuck. So I think everybody's initial thing is initially in the Silmarillion, they were elves. So they kind of go with that in the media that we know. You know what I'm saying? He never really 100% fixed that problem. And I think it was just the retcon is not necessary. I think that we can say, hey, initially they were elves, they got turned evil. The spirits don't go to the Hall of Mandos because of the corruption of Melkor, who is, not numbered as one of the Valar anymore. So that being said, anybody that got corrupted, their spirits just don't go there. They just get tormented or, they float in the earth, similar to the Maiar spirits that don't come back like Sauron and Saruman. Their spirits don't go back to Valinor. They just linger in the wild. And these are spirits that, the elf spirits that when the orcs die, these are things that can be used in things like putting spirits and fell spirits into barrel wipes and things like that, those spirits of orcs. So I think that would be a better explanation, but this is my canon, not definitely what Tolkien said. But it seems to, fix, the problem there that he was having, finding, a good solution of, their spirits and everything like that. So
yeah, it was a fair bit. He kept going a bit back and forth, and even down to little things like the female dwarves with the beards. I think I saw Don's video saying, actually, no, you got that newer book that came out about his notes and that, and actually put it actually no, they didn't have beards after all. Like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. The back and forth. It can be confusing, but I find that the people that really do their due diligence and they read, they say, hey, he decided this at the end, and that the females didn't necessarily have beards, and he said these specific peoples and these genders have beards or whatever the case may have. Now that doesn't automatically say that the females didn't have beards, but if he didn't write it down, it's open to interpretation at that point. So that's why I don't yell at people when they say they have beards or they don't have beards. You know what I'm saying? Because it's written, but then it's left up for interpretation because it's written in such a way where it's not pinned down 100%. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of leads me into the topic that Callie wanted to talk about with you is the progressiveness of your platform and the acceptance of all things and all peoples. And it's those things that people, have issues with the Lord of the Rings, like people of color being in Lord of the Rings and people, different gender identities being in Lord of the Rings and females having beards and this and the third. We're accepting of all things. We may not always agree, but we're accepting of all things. And we're trying to move in that progressive way with our platform and our content. And, a great example of that is your content. And I know Callie was really excited to talk to you because of that. We really appreciate that because, being a person of color and people of color, it's important to us to not only just fight our fights, but it's important to fight everybody's fight because everybody should be accepted and everybody should be treated equal. And we love to see that on your platform. So I'll let Callie get more into the meat and potatoes of that. But I just wanted to say that one of the reasons we love what you do, you accept everybody for who they are and no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, my platform was never really like it was never really an intention to be all about that. I just think it's just basic like human rights, really. I started doing it for a while,
But
And
it's refreshing to see, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it has been a thing that's it's like annoyed so many people, but like, I mean, I don't know, I don't know, I don't think I mentioned it on a Don stream before, but like, I honestly, I have worried a little bit about doing that content because of like how it might come across some people. Like, I honestly, I still worry today that it will come across some point, some people that I'm using like Pride or things like that for views and content.
Yeah.
But like that kind of changed a little bit when I went to the London Comic Con last year. This was basically I actually kind of stopped going, and then hang on. See, I kind of stopped going for a while for a number of different reasons, but then I came back. I came back after the after COVID, the lockdown, and because most of my growth on TikTok had been during that lockdown, so after that, I thought like London Con would be the best place to go to actually maybe meet some followers and that, and I certainly did. I got very overwhelmed with that, but it was not just the people asking for the photos; it was the people who'd stopped to express like how much my content meant to them, especially the pro LGBT stuff. Like none of them had no one has ever told me that they feel like I'm just using Pride for that sort of thing, and that's quite reassuring to me actually.
Yeah.
Pride Month especially is definitely a good time to do it, but I still try to kind of limit it a little bit in a way.
Yeah.
Just actually have the support there by all means, but yeah, I try not to overdo it.
Yeah, because I completely understand exactly what you're saying. Like, this is a Lord of the Rings channel, right? This is a podcast, and that's the content we do. But
yeah,
we're progressive in our viewpoints and our acceptance of people. So I don't push it on anybody, and everybody's welcome, and your views are welcome if you're not progressive, and all of that and everything. But as we do want to make sure that we let people know, hey, this is a safe space. So, you know, when Callie talks about Pride and enlightens me and somebody who's not fully, you know, that aware of all the different letters in the alphabet mafia and all those things, I get enlightened and I become a better person for it. So I'm open to all of that stuff. But we understand from the way you do your stuff that you're not literally just trying to get views off of anything. That's just your viewpoint, and that is a good way to be. It's just being a good person, and you know, hopefully more people can be like that. And so nobody looks at it like that way, and that's why they're so accepting of you, and they come to you and they say that because it doesn't come across that way at all. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I've been told how they just appreciate the fact that me having a platform like that and willing to use that platform for that sort of thing, really. So that really has meant a lot to actually hear that sort of thing, really.
Awesome.
I mean, generally, I just think like my platform was just there for entertainment, but if it can, having a platform like that, it really does change a few things. Like, when you have a big platform, the things you say can have quite a lot of impact on other people, and I've noticed it in like positive ways and negative ways. Like, I've actually kind of lectured one or two people about how they should be a bit more responsible with some of the things they say. There was one person who made this video who about basically making out like vets were just horrible people for charging lots of money for like euthanizing pets and all that. And well, I actually know Dr. Izzy, for example, she actually is a vet, and seeing that really hurt her because it's not pleasant having to like put down an animal like that. So
Absolutely.
seeing somebody make a complete mockery to make out that vets as like horrible, nasty people for doing this, it really hurt. That's one person that it affects. But think about what it does for other vets as well, who have to actually put up with that. It's not a pleasant experience. So I did say to this person, like she made some half-assed apology. Like she really wasn't understanding what was the big deal. I said, look, they said to her, like, look, I've been at your point here, and I know just you should know by now just how much the things you say can actually impact other people. How even if like some of the things you say are not actually valid, some people are still going to take it seriously because you have the big platform, because you've worked for that, and like you get conspiracy theorists who are just talking shit, but they have the big platform there, and people are going to watch and take it seriously. So yeah, when you have that platform, I think you do have a bit of responsibility to use it for
But
good
yes.
things. That's just what I try and do, really. And I like at the moment, I've been wanting to do a bit more about the whole situation in America, the Roe v. Wade situation. I've not had much time to film lately. I've had different ideas, but I've not got the most educated voice on that subject. So I've been trying to think of the best sort of thing to put out there for it. I had one I was actually trying to do this evening, and it kind of failed. It was kind of a news report on the subject. I was trying to just sort of repost, and the audio just cut because it was over 60 seconds.
Oh.
So that idea kind of completely messed up. But yeah.
Oh, I'm sure we will appreciate that content if and when you're able to make it. I know that I saw a video response that you did, and someone had commented like, why do you bother responding to negative comments or to the trolls? And your response was so perfect, and you just said exactly what you've told us, is that I may be repeating myself, but this is going to matter to somebody somewhere. And when I saw that, my whole brain just exploded, and I was like, we need to talk to this person. This is an amazing person.
Yeah, I've had quite a range of different ways I've actually tackled with hateful people. Like, if people are being straight up rude, then I'll give a slap back here and there. But when it comes to people actually giving like a bit more of an argument, like there were some people who genuinely don't
understand stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I actually. I don't know if I actually posted this video or not. I was making a video straight after that one, explaining like why, and I think unless you're referring to the same video, I actually did a couple of different ones, and I don't remember if I posted this one. I was explaining about how the situation with like Black Lives Matter, for example. Basically, I haven't done as many videos on that one because originally I was at one point, but then I got it was a video from Iron Sanctuary that came up on my feed. He was explaining why he hadn't, because he basically decided that it wasn't his turn as a white man to talk about black issues. He wanted to basically allow black people to talk about their own issues and not take that spotlight away. And I kind of thought, ow, okay, actually that's a good point. What was the point I was going to say on that one? Yeah. So yeah, the video I was making, I don't remember if I actually posted it or not. It was basically talking about how every time Black Lives Matter is brought into the media, it always sparks the All Lives Matter crowd. Now, you get people. The problem with this, of course, is that it drowns out the actual argument for why Black Lives Matter is actually in the media in the first place. But every time I see this being brought up, it just gets slapped with people just saying, "Oh, you're straight up racist for trying to do this." But you see some people who genuinely don't understand the argument, because when you're not really that educated on the subject of why it's brought up in the first place, you're just going to see the argument "all lives matter" and think, "Oh, it seems common sense." Yeah,
that makes
common sense. Yeah, but they genuinely don't understand like what's the problem. So when they just see somebody screaming racist at them, they're not going to be encouraged to go onto their side. So I took the time to I took the time to sit down and explain. Can you imagine being in the shoes of somebody who's had to face discrimination their entire life? And we know this is a thing. We've had it like mentioned in our comedy for decades as a stereotype. We know it happens. So imagine you are the person who actually experiences this on a daily basis in real life. And then when it's finally brought up in the media, white people come up and say, "Oh, but what about us? We don't need the platform for that. We have it. Let's try and bring up people who are not at that point yet. It's not about taking our rights away. They just want the same rights we do. That's all it is."
Yeah, it's not a pie.
So I tried to take so I tried to take that moment to just not insult, just say, okay, I understand your point of view here. Here's what it comes across as. Here's why people get so upset with you here.
Yeah,
this is the problem. And some people, I don't think it reached as many people as I'd like it to have reached that to. But I think I did get one or two comments and saying, just saying, this is the first video I've seen explaining the issue without screaming at me. Thank you for this. Only a couple of comments saying this, but only a couple of comments saying that. But yeah,
very similar to an argument I've been having lately with the whole Lord of the Rings thing. You know, to tie it back into the Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Literally, people are like always saying, whenever there's a person of color put into any media that they're used to without any people of color that they know of or anything. They're saying, oh, you're trying to you're trying to bring wokeness into the franchise. You're trying to do this. Everything is that. Everything is wokeness or color. You're trying to bring color into it. You're trying to make it political. And it's like, no, some things need to happen because they haven't been happening, and it's just right and it's just fair. These actors that haven't been given this opportunity because of their skin of color, their color of skin and everything like that. Like, I understand what you're saying to the extent of, people are forcing that in a sense, but most of the times it's not. It's just people understanding that, hey, they haven't been given a fair shot. It's time to give them a fair shot. Let's see if they can do this part. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's not the color, the skin color isn't driving the story forward, it doesn't matter. It's not like changing Dr. Martin Luther King's skin color. That matters because it's his skin color is integral to his whole story in the part. But if you change to be honest, like somebody like Blade, if you made Blade a white character, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter that he's white or black. He's Blade. But if you change Black Panther's character, his entire story is to him being black. You know what I'm saying? Blade just happens to be black. But if he was white, he'd still be Blade the Vampire Hunter and doing what he does.
Yeah.
But
I think
Black Panther being Black Panther and being in the King of Wakanda and everything.
Yeah, that one wouldn't work. I've heard saying people different. Sorry, I've heard different people say, "Oh, why don't you make a movie about Martin Luther King, but put Ryan Gosling as Martin Luther King?" Yeah. There's a reason that doesn't work, and you know it.
Yeah,
I say when it comes to comic book characters, if you actually have genuinely been reading the comics for ages, and you want to see what you've been reading in live action, I get how that might bother to an extent, but there are plenty of cases when it can just work fine. I mean, Nick Fury was white in the comics originally. It works bloody damn well. You get a decent actor with a decent script. It really doesn't matter.
And I think Zendaya playing MJ. It's not integral that she has to be white, so it literally doesn't matter, and it works fine. And now people are used to Zendaya playing MJ in the 3 Spider-Man movies, and now you see same thing with the Lord of the Rings. They're not changing any characters, the main characters that have a certain look or anything like that or aesthetic, but new characters that are brought in. Hey, you know what? How about we throw a dark skin colored elf in there, because it doesn't say there aren't dark skin colored elves. And first of all, these people have been alienated and not allowed to have their just due when it comes to acting. So you know what? Let's even the playing field for everybody, so everybody gets this. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying change out Gandalf and make Gandalf black. That I wouldn't like that either. I'd be like, no, that specifically isn't said, but that's not what's going on. So people need to stop fighting against what they call wokeness, and literally human decency is just human decency. You know what I'm saying? What you're calling wokeness is just basic human decency and everybody's rights. They don't know how it feels, so they don't know how to deal with it, and they want to fight against it. But if you put yourselves in those shoes, and let's say that white actors never got anything. Let's say I try to explain it as in terms of presidencies. I say, how many presidents were there? You know what I'm saying? Where were we on 46 or 45? We're on 40. I don't know. We're on in the 40s, right? And I asked them, I say, how many black presidents was it? They say 1. I said, now think about that. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, I said, there's been only 1 out of 40 something presidents, only been 1. So that's how the same thing, black people haven't been given the opportunity, women, Spanish people, it's all white dudes, dudes. You know what I'm saying? That's, come on.
Yeah.
So, giving somebody else an opportunity to do something isn't wrong.
I think one thing I was saying recently, actually, with black characters, female characters, when they try to make them leading characters to make people like them and all that, there can be a bit of a problem with that. Obviously, you get audiences that seem to get put off for some reason. So in some cases, what they try and do is try and swap the gender around, maybe to have say Doctor Who, maybe you have all male characters, then you finally get a female lead, for example. I have heard the argument how if you're trying to make a strong female lead, and you have to do that by piggybacking off the success of a male character, that there may be something a bit insulting about that. But at the same time, it's like I said, like sometimes when you just chuck these characters out of nowhere, people tend to get put off about it. Female lead, say in Star Wars, sometimes just doesn't quite work. You've got Ahsoka, for example, which does work. You've got Rey, which didn't. But it's a case of like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you try and start fresh and make, like they always say, oh, why don't you just make original characters? Yeah, but no one buys them. That's why you have to do this in the first place. That's why we're kind of forced to like do this, to put them in the spotlight, to give them opportunities like that, because otherwise you don't give them that chance.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, man. But
Yeah,
it's one we gotta climb, and we gotta get to the mountaintop eventually, man. We can't just, for the sake of not hearing their mouth, not do it. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. We'll get through it, and I think we'll be a better people in country and all that stuff for it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll let Callie carry on with moving forward on the podcast and getting to ask more funny questions and not such heavy questions, because we want to talk about, you know, the fun stuff you do and the fun content you make as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we could ramble about this for ages. Really,
we probably could, but I mean, for my part, I will just say that like I am extremely excited to see people of color playing, particularly the elves in Lord of the Rings, because like look at me. I mean, so I've been cosplaying as an elf, and I've gotten a lot of hate for that, because people don't think that I have any business dressing as a fair creature. With my skin color, and that's been like a fight that has brought me down to possibly some of my lowest depths. But on the other hand, then we started this podcast and we started talking about representation, and we started talking about gatekeeping and racism and female representation in the Tolkien fandom, and started finding other like-minded individuals. And you know, I have gotten to see, by putting what I want to see out in the world, coming back to me, I'm able to see now more clearly what I want to see coming back. And so I hope that the show does that, and people can just start to leave that alone, because
I hope it just connects and brings everybody together, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Brings new fans in there, people who haven't used to seeing their color as elves, you know, they're fans. And then the people who you know, are just regular ordinary, you know, fans, and you know, Caucasian fans and fans from England and America that just like it anyway. You know what? Hey, you get what you want. You get to see you know, Lord of the Rings and different perspectives and different, you know, viewpoints and everything, and you still get this story that you've always known and loved. You know what I'm saying? And you get it spiced up a little bit, and then everybody wins and are better people for it. And you say, you know what? Give it a chance and say, wow, that's a really good actor there. Or maybe, you know what? I didn't mind that person being cast in that role, but you know, it wasn't that I didn't really like that. That's fine. You know, you don't have to like everything. Everything isn't to be liked. There's some actors I don't like of every color. The black, white, green, doesn't matter. But you know, just giving it a chance and being open-minded, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? And saying as long as you know the content is trying to stay you know, true to the way the story is being told in a certain sense, cool. You know what I'm saying? But everything isn't about color all the time, and it's sad that they're trying to make it like, you know, these different colors can't be in it. You know what I'm saying? This is just moving forward in life and human decency. You know what I'm saying? So
I just find it like a bit funny how like all these mythical creatures in like the franchise Lord of the Rings, and suddenly a black guy is the most outrageous thing.
There's a dragon, there's a troll, there's literally
wizards, and there's
all
like
these like strange creatures, all these bizarre monsters and all that. It's like, wait a minute, a black elf?
My imagination stops. I cannot.
Black hobbits, wow, black dwarves. I'm like, you know, the dwarves are real, but those magical dwarves in the Lord of the Rings aren't real. There's no race of dwarves that live in the mountains, and what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be upset. Elves are not real. They're not real. I love Lord of the Rings, but it's like wrestling. I know it's fake. I know it's not real. I love wrestling, but I know it's not real. So what am I getting mad about it for? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What am I getting upset about it for? All right.
So
Not
yeah.
real
So
anyway.
so the gatekeeping is kind of a part of the fandom here, and that's something that we're trying to change. But I'm curious, as you can hear by the accents in the chat, that Scotty is from a different part of the world than Daybetta and I. So being a Lord of the Rings fan here, it's interesting because I find that a lot of people who are gatekeeping, not in a good sense, get really offended on behalf of England. And they're like, when you try to like change the story from what they wanted, and they're like, no, this is a story for England, and the people are English, and everything is English. Well, how that like does that happen in actually England or like?
In person, not that I've noticed very much. I think that's very much a social media kind of thing. When people like get offended on behalf of a country for a fictional story, in that, it's like I've never like, considered like getting offended on behalf of America for a fictional idea that's being reinterpreted or anything like that. I mean, I live in England. I've been to Birmingham. I've been to the area where Tolkien lived. Like that doesn't mean like I have like any sort of
they feel
higher
ownership.
position. Like,
They feel ownership.
It's like I don't have like an authority over Americans to say what isn't.
Okay.
Like you guys, like
That's a relief.
I'm still halfway through the Silmarillion right now. You guys have a lot more knowledge than me on Tolkien in general.
I just like to get him mad. I just tell him, well, Tolkien technically was African. He was born in Africa, so
yeah, they don't like.
Yeah. It's 100%. It's a fact. He's from South Africa.
Yeah, 100%.
I actually forget that, but yeah, like
no, he was.
If anybody should have a gripe, it should be us African Americans.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? He's from Africa. He's from the motherland. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what is it like living in England? So Nubetta just visited that area.
Man, I loved it, man. It was very, very nice.
So you two have been where I have not.
Well, it's quite hard to say because usually if I asked you like what do you think of your own country, it's like unless you've actually explored elsewhere, it's really hard to say like from an outside perspective. But like I mean, my experience in Florida, I just couldn't help but notice a lot of people were very friendly, like just down to regular people in person, or even like just like retail workers and that, just very cheerful and talking to customers. Yeah, it's miserable over here. Like it's I don't know.
That's a down south thing, man. Up here it's not like that.
Yeah.
I live in New York, and they're not gonna be very nice to you.
But I mean more as a Tolkien fan. Like, are there other like here? It's like the Tolkien people are a little bit, unless you're wearing a T-shirt that has Lord of the Rings on it, like it's or this necklace that everyone knows is from the movies. People, it's not ever assumed that you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, but does that ever happen with you guys, or no? Is this just a dumb question?
I don't know. I mean, like you can go to Comic-Con and assume like most people there would be into Lord of the Rings. I think it's not really a negative for such to be into it. I think most people here would agree that it's a beautiful book franchise, amazing movie series.
Now, in the latter days of I think it is just now it's more accepted. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I apologize.
Oh yeah. But no, I think most people would definitely want to go to New Zealand just simply because of the franchise. I think we all want to visit the Shire, so it's on my bucket list at least.
Yeah,
me too, mine too. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's like how we want to visit England. You English want to visit New Zealand. So we all just want to go somewhere else where Lord of the Rings was done.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather go somewhere with nice weather, because here it's miserable. Like you want to go to Birmingham with just grey skies, drizzle, and all that. It's like, oh yeah, this is where Tolkien lived.
Yeah, my sister lives in
okay.
Birmingham.
Sorry,
my sister lives in Birmingham.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I'm only about 40-minute drive from Birmingham. I regularly go for nights out down in the city there, so I was actually there last weekend.
Oh, nice, awesome. That's awesome. That's cool, man. Oh, that is awesome, man.
Yeah, as much as we have our jokes regularly about how the Birmingham accent, everyone has the stereotype about how the Birmingham accent is just horrible. Just you think like Ozzy Osbourne when you think like Birmingham accent.
Well, my sister's Jamaican, so she still retains her Jamaican accent.
Oh, okay, good.
So you mentioned that you're getting through the Silmarillion. Where are you now?
I've just got past the tale of Beren and Luthien, actually.
Oh.
I have taken a bit of a break back because I mean I'm autistic, and I tend to have a difficulty taking in the information at times, which I partially use audiobooks because I can read fine, but I often struggle to just take in what the hell I've just read. So audiobooks work for me, and I've actually been going through Don Marshall's explained episodes on that one, which has helped a lot. But I still like to go back and recap over bits. But at the moment, I've taken a bit of a break on that, and I've kind of started recapping on some of the Witcher books, actually. So
cool.
That's good.
Which is a great series
palate
as well.
cleanser.
yeah, I started going through. I honestly, I don't usually go through fiction in general. I prefer history books, philosophy sometimes here and there. But I watched I played The Witcher 3 and I enjoyed it. But then I watched this season 1 of The Witcher twice because I couldn't understand what the hell was going on. Like I got so lost in the timelines and all that.
Yeah, I did that too.
Then I started like reading all the books and I actually got really into them. And then after reading all of them, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna play through the game again. And it was like a whole new experience, actually knowing all the actual backgrounds and everything. I was like, they've actually paid a lot of decent amount of attention to the books here. Like I absolutely adored it, especially Regis. He is my favorite character in the franchise, and they did him so perfectly in the game. Like, yeah. And then I thought, like, well, after going through these, why not try some Tolkien? So, I mean, with me, part of the reason I do audiobooks is because I like to sneak a little Bluetooth headphone in and just go through a book like throughout the day, and it's a great time to actually get through them.
Yeah. You stopped at a good resting point, Baron and Luthien. It's going to get a little heavy after that.
Yeah. So I've heard.
Best of luck to you, sir.
Yeah.
How did you like Baron and Luthien, though?
I rather enjoyed it. I know that story is very dear to Tolkien.
It's very dear to a lot of us. Yeah, definitely
it's
my favorite.
quite the badass story. It's just the fight with the Huan and
Sauron.
Sauron, yeah. It's like, fuck.
Sauron going through all the Halloween characters and just shape-shifting, like, poof, poof, poof.
Yeah. The goodest boy.
The goodest boy, yes.
Everybody's like, Huan, the goodest boy ever. Like, Huan is awesome, man. I love him, man. Huan does what he does, man.
Nirvana hates when I call him a pupper. He's like, no, he's a hound. He's a proud hound. I'm like, no, pupper.
Oh my goodness.
I know he's like a hound, but I saw it was an artwork of them both and Huan. I think it was like it's an Irish hound. I think the breed was that it was in.
Was it the Alan Lee one with the Irish wolfhound and it's like scraggly?
Like
yeah. Like I don't know. I really like that. Like that's what's glued in my head right now. Just I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely
because those are huge dogs in general. Like
they are. I saw one the other day on the street, and it's just like I drove by and I was staring at it. They're so magnificent. Oh my goodness.
It's like you could just believe it was a mythical creature right there.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man. That's awesome. So looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the rest of the Silmarillion.
Yes, yeah. And if you
I can't wait till people read it, man. I get so hyped. So
if you have like questions, you know who to contact now if you want like interpretations of things. Yeah.
Yes.
We got you. Yeah, sometimes it helps just to have someone tell it to you like a story, right? That they know rather than reading it in Tolkien's words, because
I've got a friend of mine who I've come to a couple of times. She's more England based. My friend Leanne I mentioned earlier. I actually did a video with her a while ago. She's ambulatory disabled.
Is that Talk Tolkien to me?
Yes.
Or Celestial Wanderer. Yeah, so we know her. We know her quite well. Yeah, you better. You know who we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I should know that. She literally popped up to me about that. I was like, yeah, I'm going over a podcast with her. Like,
awesome. I love her.
Yeah. Oh, she's amazing. Yeah, she did our trivia event and absolutely killed it.
I adore her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking about Lee?
Yeah, she popped up actually saying that I think she mentioned that I'd come into your live stream or something, because I think you mentioned me or something, and she was asking. I think she was asking if I knew. What was the conversation like? I'm getting so mixed up now. Yeah, she asked me if I knew you. It's like, yeah, I know her. Yeah, because I'm going on a podcast next week, and yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in a walker right now, so I am also ambulatory disabled. So I had done a video response, and that's back again to your
Oh yes, of course you
platform
did.
being
Yeah.
progressive and you promoting these other aspects of life that a lot of people don't understand and don't take the time to. And I
Yeah.
appreciate it so much that you use your platform to bring attention to these things that maybe don't affect you personally, but I mean, they affect other people in your life. And so you do that. And that I know that that video meant a lot to me personally, but to, you know, a lot of
Mm,
others as well in the disabled community, which I'm in
yeah.
touch with, being a member of it. But yeah.
Yeah, the original vid it blew up quite a bit actually, and it kind of because I followed on with that video to actually go in more depth and explain a bit more, and I ran the details with her actually a little bit just to make sure I wasn't misspeaking on something.
Mm.
But I think it definitely raised the question for a few people who were curious about the context of that, and I kind of used that to bounce off and actually try and explain that to a few more people. So I was a fair few people who actually appreciate that quite a bit. So I think that's
Yes.
good use of the
Yeah.
platform, really.
Yes, and that's just what we're here to do, is appreciate today, is to appreciate you for doing that and appreciate your platform for doing that. Yeah. We got stuff happening in the hood. All right, how are we doing for time?
Yeah.
We are getting, wow, we have just like blown through things. Um
Quite.
I did want to like ask you about other cosplay stuff. I know that New Beta hasn't started
Hmm.
doing cosplays yet.
Nope, not yet.
Yet.
Yeah,
But
yeah. We'll see. We'll
but
see.
we're working on it. But like, how did you get into it, Scotty? As a guy to guy here, what advice would you give to New Beta?
I mean, I kind of always liked dressing up, really, but it was I think originally it was a fancy dress party thing, which I was doing the crow, but I was just doing extra effort because I just enjoyed it. And I was asked if I did the Comic Cons. I was like, what? And I got told a bit more details about it. So I went to a smaller one, really enjoyed it, got in touch with a few groups online, and I kind of made a bit of a friend circle. I was regularly going there with the very same circle who encouraged me to do Jesus from the start. And so I was doing it at the Comic Con before I was doing it on TikTok. But yeah,
Oh.
I so like cosplay, you can really go in any direction you want with it. But I personally have found I've had the most fun with the costumes that haven't cost me too much or like taken too much to do. I've got a Mandalorian outfit. I've got pirate gear. I've spent over $1,000 on some of the like overall.
Wow.
Yeah, you get pretty serious about that stuff. Yeah.
I mean that pirate stuff I do regularly. The Mandalorian one, I have really not done much, partially because it's just a lot to wear like indoors around a lot of people. It's just, but no, I mean I've done the ones like Miguel, Jesus, Casey Jones, and that. But yeah, like Miguel especially, I've had the most fun with that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive. Like I with Casey Jones, it was a cheap one. I kind of looked at it and just thought, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to expand in my own sort of way. So I just roughened it up a little bit, made it look battle damaged, and that was my own sort of thing on that. But yeah, it can be as easy as you want it to be. If you just want to, Comic Con in general, it's great for just making friends, like regardless of what you're actually wearing. But yeah, I mean, next I'm hoping to I'm trying to work on a Kenobi cosplay actually. So I've done Qui-Gon, but I want to do Obi-Wan for a bit, and I've got a wig being commissioned at the moment, so that'll be fun.
You're going to cover your glorious hair.
Yeah, I mean, my hair's like 3 times as long as his, but
We'll find a way.
Okay.
May the force be with you.
yeah, I mean, I was able to use it for Qui-Gon Jinn at least. It worked for that, but at the same
Yeah,
time, like
definitely.
he's like a 6'7" bloke or something. I'm like 5'7". It's like I'm a tiny Qui-Gon. Like the little things bother me like that. So
All right,
so New Bet is going to his first Comic-Con
yeah.
right.
in a month or so, San Diego.
Mhm.
And
Oh yeah, I'd
yes,
like to do that one someday.
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
And
fun, man. Excited.
yeah, he'll be doing a panel, I think. Is that right, New Bet?
I think I'll be on a panel with the Torn people, the OneRing.net. So they asked me to do it. So that should be getting finalized in the next few days. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be in the booth with them. And it's going to be just and it's a real experience. I can't wait to meet all the Lord of the Rings fans and be able to talk face to face with them. Forgive that raggedy car going by right now.
It's like
Yeah.
there's a monster truck happening.
When we first started the podcast, a fight almost broke out in the background.
You did say that.
It's just a regular day in the hood. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So just don't pay any mind to those sounds. If any gunshots happen, I'll duck down. Don't worry about it. I'm good over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited to do it. I'm asked to be in a cosplay for one of the things, like one of the events, and I'm a little leery of it because I typically don't do that. But I guess if I treat it like Halloween, it won't be so weighty on my shoulders. I'm not as confident in that as I am with my oratory skills as far as reciting and regurgitating lore. So we'll see and how it goes, and I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure I'll have a great time, man. So hope to meet you there at one of these Comic-Cons, man. It's really been an honor and pleasure having you on the podcast. So
I hope I can go back over sometime.
Maybe I'll dress up like him.
Yeah, you could. There you go. Just
get
some robes and
characters like that. You can really have a lot of fun, like with other people. With like the interaction, I think the one that I was going to say, like with cosplay, sometimes the interactions you can make with other people. When you, especially like characters in the same franchise, you can make references and jokes that they might actually get, and that's kind of like sometimes how you just make new friends.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm surprised they asked you specifically to do one.
Yeah, man.
Which one? What?
I'm surprised too.
Yeah, cosplay. But I started an Amazon wish list for you already.
Oh God!
I've already been picking out items for you to build an Arondir cosplay if you want.
I'll think about it.
We'll see, but I've been building it in secret, and then if you ever say yes, I'm ready to cosplay Callie, I'll be like, yes, I have it for you, and
it's a go,
and it's a go.
I'm gonna win.
Oh man, like I could talk to you forever. I'm pretty sure, Scotty, about like everything, and pick your brain about like where you started, all your cosplays, how you got into mermaiding. But can we just do a little second about the mermaid? Because I just did that for the first time, and I am excited to be a mermaid, and I was so excited to find out that you are too. We have a merman in our midst.
Where's the tail? Actually, if I can get this quickly, I might as well.
Oh my goodness, are you guys?
It's literally hanging on the door right here, so
okay.
Why not?
Just, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. Is that Finfolk?
Mertailor, actually.
Mertailor, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean,
Gorgeous.
I've been working with a mermaid company for the last couple of years now as a pirate, but we kind of had this sort of like ongoing sort of joke for a while. Yeah, imagine getting me in a mermaid tail, like just for the hell of it, to see what it would look like as me as a merman. But like eventually it was like Lily, my boss, was basically saying, you know what, if you genuinely actually had a mermaid tail, I would genuinely train you to like swim in one and perform with us. Like, But it was mostly during the lockdown, which because I've been working full time anyway, and it was shut and I had nowhere to spend it. So I was actually saving a fair bit. And I thought, you know what? I could buy it. I was looking online thinking I could buy one. And I went a bit back and forth on like the designs and stuff. I tell you what, I mean, I was looking at all the fancy details and stuff, and I was asking my mods, which one do you think I'd go for? And they were saying like the more plain sort of ones. I'm like, do you know who we're talking about? Like, you know who you're talking to? Like, me,
extra
plain. Yeah, I had to go extra and everything like that. And they were saying, yeah, exactly. You wouldn't make it plain. You would accessorize over it and make it your own. Like, good shout. But in the end, I went for the one that looked like Sauron's tail or something. Like, I don't know.
No, it's a very nice
mermaid Sauron.
I don't know. It's just like the colors are like scheming this. It looks like the whole lavary sort of like fiery effect in it or something. I don't know.
That is pretty cool. That is amazing. All right, New Better, do you have a question for our guest today?
Well, from what you read already, I typically ask, and I'm going to give you open reign because you're getting into it. So I don't want to, relegate you to one race. So out of the Lord of the Rings characters that you know of so far, I have 3 questions. Who would you marry? Any race in the Lord of the Rings? Who would you have protect you? Any race, Lord of the Rings, and who would you fight? Any race, Lord of the Rings.
So Right. So who would I marry? Was that
Who would you marry?
marry? Have attack me? Who
Who
Protect
would you have
you.
protect you
Oh, protect. Sorry, you cut out a little bit on the second one. So yeah, so marry, protect, and fight.
Yeah.
and fight? Yep.
Ooh. Interesting one, actually.
Interesting. Interesting.
What about marry Lady Goldberry?
That is
Oh,
That
yay!
is awesome.
Protect.
That is a very good choice. The River Daughter.
Protecting.
River Daughter. Goldberry. Okay.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
like that. I like that. Excuse
I'll
me,
tell
I
you
gotta
what. I
Wow,
think
this is out here.
part of the detail of my wand I had made from Windermere was the fact that like choosing a favorite character, one of them was like Gandalf, for the influence in the wand making, because I
Oh.
like the feeling of safety around the someone so wise, powerful, and just So actually, the whole shaft of this wand is made of birchwood to resemble Gandalf's staff.
Staff, yeah.
So a protector, Gandalf. I think I would go for there.
Excellent
I
choice.
think
Excellent choice.
Gandalf the Grey or White would be a case there. I think I don't know. I think protection. I think Gandalf the White. I think the Grey might have been a bit more fascinating for a humbled conversation. But attacking though,
Who are you gonna fight?
I mean, realistically, I think I would just like get killed by any of them. So who would be the most awesome way to die? What is the best thing to have on your gravestone? Scott died by Smaug. Died by a dragon or something. Yeah, failed, but
Wow.
at least it took a dragon to best him.
Yeah,
Excellent.
It took a dragon, and it was that step that Bilbo took that was the most bravest step he ever took in his life, going into the dragon's lair. So we're gonna put that on your gravestone as well.
The bravest step he ever took. Amazing. All right, so we'll recap our socials. Scotty, why don't you go first? Just again, give all our listeners and viewers a refresher on where they can find you and consume all of your content.
Well, I am mostly on TikTok under the @ of Scotty Wartooth, but I also come up under TikTok Jesus. I also operate on Instagram here and there. I have a Discord group. I have my Twitter here and there, but I do also stream regularly on Twitch 3 times a week with the same username as Scotty Wartooth. So if you want a more personal chat with me at all during streaming, then Twitch is the place to go. Otherwise, if you just want simple short content, TikTok it is, I guess.
Awesome. Oh, I had a question and then it went away.
Okay. Oh dear.
Awkward silence now.
New better. Where can we find you, and let us know where we can find the podcast?
Well, you can find the podcast at Voices of Arda. Literally type that in on YouTube. You can find us there. Type it in on Spotify and also on Google Podcasts. And you can find us at all 3 platforms. Me, New Better, Do Better, just how you see it spelled right there in my name. On TikTok, I am huge on TikTok. Not huge, but in my mind, I got a decent amount of followers. So follow me there. YouTube, get my numbers up on YouTube because I had to start a new one, so it's looking bleak over there. Also Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff, all the socials. You can find me New Better Do Better. Type it in Instagram as well. Type in New Better Do Better, and I'll pop up first usually. So hope to see you guys. Hope you can interact with me on all of my socials because I try to have a good time. I try to be very informative, and of course, make sure you follow the podcast. That's a huge one right there. Callie, where can we find you?
So I am Callie Cosplay on TikTok. Really only TikTok. I have an Instagram, but I'm not terribly active on it. It's kind of like a backup thing, mostly for me to follow other people who are way more interesting than I am. We have a Discord where we all hang out. Scotty, join us if you would like. I'll send you the link after this. It's called That's What I'm Talking About, and it's just where our community hangs out. We have watch parties, Jackbox games every Wednesday. We do at the last Saturday of the month, we do like a drink and hangout thing. Yeah, we're just community building and supporting each other and sharing all our love of Tolkien. I remembered the question though that slipped my mind earlier was, Scotty, how are you not verified on TikTok yet? I mean,
I get that.
What do you
I
have?
get asked that a
7.5
lot.
million?
Yeah, 7.5.
What does it take?
I think if TikTok wanted to verify me, they would have done so by now. But I think it's largely because the whole Jesus sort of thing.
Oh.
I think YouTube literally have a Jesus guy they had verified. But I think TikTok, I don't think they're as willing to have a Jesus guy. It might be also because I got TikTok Jesus. They don't want to verify me of that as if they are endorsing a Jesus, like an official one on a TikTok. It might be because of that, but it might be because of the mountain of stuff I've had reported and taken down constantly. Yeah. It might be something to do with that, but
well, I'm going to take this time to shamelessly plug myself and say that, I need a clip, of this podcast with Mr. Jesus over here who has 7.5 million followers. That, hey, come follow me. Do better. And I'm just kidding, man. But that's awesome, man. That is so like amazing that you have so many followers, people who love your content, who follow you, who listen to you. And just want you to know that there's a reason for that. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep being yourself. Keep being true to what you believe in, and that'll always be omnipotent, and you can turn water into wine. So, I'm just saying moot point, but
I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
No problem, man.
All right, so I will leave us off with the self-care tip of the week. This one comes from the Mount Sinai Health Center, which is actually in New York. 6 ways to practice self-care on social media. So while social media can be a good way to feel connected to others, it can also be draining and stressful. It's easy to begin basing your self-worth on the number of likes and follows, or get caught up in comparing yourself to others. So self-tip number 1, remember that people are not their social media presence. Influencers have personal lives and aspects of their lives that they don't share with you. 2, remember that you are not your social media presence. As an influencer, you are entitled to having a personal life and having aspects of your life that you don't publicize. Some things can just be for you. 3, be mindful of your needs and your mental health. Adjust your social media habits to fit your needs. Sometimes self-care is just not reading the comment section. 4, take a break. Full stop. Just sometimes take a break is okay, and it's needed, and you'll come back better for it. 5 is be proud. People might try to make fun of you for posting online or for trying to do something, but basically I say fuck them. Like, nobody should make you feel bad for doing something that you enjoy. And 6, cyberbullying. That is really difficult thing to deal with in this time and age of the internet. So first thing to do with cyberbullying is make sure that you're protected, make sure that you are okay, that you're mentally stable and able to deal with this. If you are able to deal with it, don't ignore cyberbullying. Report it, block it, talk to people about it, hold the people accountable. Again, if you have the energy, strength, and are safe enough to do so, because it's this nefarious thing where people just like, call them drive-by commenters, where they drive by and they drop a bad comment and then they're gone, and you're trying to like sit there and like fight against the comment, but you can't. You got to like grab them if you can and hold them accountable and let them know that that's not okay. It's not okay to do that. The internet and social media are ultimately what you make of it. Hopefully these steps above can help you enjoy more positive and purposeful online interactions.
All right. Well, you can't get any more awesome than those steps right there, man. It'll keep you sane in this crazy world and this crazy internet, you know what I'm saying? Crazy social media time that we live in. So let's take those steps and let's follow them very closely because it definitely will keep you sane. So once
To
again,
add-
I just want to thank you, Scotty, man.
Yeah,
Thank you
I was
Scotty.
gonna say just to add a little point on point number 5 about the hate comments when you said fuck them. Yeah, a little tip for people on that one. For those hate comments, take a look at them. Take a look at what they're insulting you on, and just ask yourself: would you even go to that person for advice on that subject they're even criticizing you on? I guarantee you, no, you wouldn't.
There you go.
So there you go, from Jesus himself.
A very wise man, regardless of whether he's Jesus or not.
So once again, thank you so much, Scotty.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much, man. We are really honored and
Really
we're blessed
honored.
to have you, man. You know what I'm saying? So this was an awesome episode, awesome talk with you. Man, I'm gonna give those cosplays a try, man. And until next time, guys. So we are going to get out of here, man. And thank you for watching Voices of Arda or listening to Voices of Arda. And until episode 10. Peace.
Thank you.